I'm Voltaire Slapadelic. I just joined the Seoul Dojo to do reviews for video games. This is my first one. Today we're doing Cult of the Lamb. It's going to be, it was developed by Massive Monster and published by Devolver Digital. It's on everywhere, all the things that people play video games on these days. You know what I mean? I'm talking about video games and stuff. I played mine on the Nintendo Switch. In this game, you play as a lamb. You're the last lamb on Earth. All the rest have been sacrificed to the old gods, and you're up next. However, when you do get sacrificed, you get saved and spared by the one who waits in order to start a cult in their name and to kill all the religious heretics and spread the word of the one true God. That's not a joke. That's genuinely what the game is about. So the gameplay, I'd say it's split between two different halves. The first one is kind of like a almost a Sims-like game, maybe closer to I don't want to say Animal Crossing, but sort of, but closer to maybe that Stardew Valley, something along those lines, where you have to grow crops, you have to feed people, you got to make sure everyone's got a bed and all that kind of stuff. There's connections to make. In addition to needing to grow crops and keep up popularity and keep up loyalty, as this game calls it, there's also a need to do more everyday things like ritual sacrifice and psychedelic mushroom brainwashing sessions. The other half of the gameplay is this sort of what you may have been seeing footage of already or not. You know, when people sort of, from what I've seen, when people are showing footage of the game online, this tends to be what people focus on, is the sort of roguelike elements, the dungeon crawling, the leveling up, the combat. You go through, you explore rooms, you unlock abilities, you battle monsters, you do all these things that are seemingly very random. For the most part, playing on easy mode as far as the combat goes. I did turn it kind of up and down here and there as I went along, but I stayed with easy mode for the most part. Not so much because the combat was difficult, but more because the fairly harsh, in my opinion, punishment for dying leads to the game being a little more frustrating than I think was intended. When you die multiple times in a row, it just starts compounding really quick to the point where it kind of took away from my enjoyment of the game after a while. I did notice a few bugs here and there. For some reason, since the last update, some of my villagers, when they get sick, they won't go visit the sick bay. I'm not sure why. Can't get them to do that. They'll just sleep on the floor. So there's that. The game would occasionally freeze, or sort of like soft lock, where it wasn't completely frozen but just stuck in like a loop, when I would try to indoctrinate new cultists in the village. There's a little area where they pop up and you go talk to them and they become the new cult member. And sometimes instead of that menu opening, the game would just freeze, and so I'd have to pause it, save, close the game out, and reload it. You know, my only other real nitpicks about the game, I'm gonna get the sort of negative stuff off first. Those only real nitpicks that I have are that some of the random chance elements can be a bit annoying. Like there's a dice game there. Occasionally there was a pretty long load time, like kind of a surprisingly long load time on occasion. This didn't happen very often either. More often than not, when it did happen, it would be either when the game was first just loading or going in and out of the combat modes. Other than that, I don't really have anything but positive things to say. This game's fun to play. It's addictive. I love the art style. It's very cutesy. It has a great sense of humor. It's able to be cute, but also like hella messed up at the same time. It's got this real funny, dark sense of humor without being like too grim or gross. It never goes into that. It's all very tongue-in-cheek. It really does a really good job of balancing the like over-the-top cultish, like devil kind of subject matter with the really cutesy art style, and I really enjoyed that. So you can do all kinds of things. You can buy upgrades, you can buy followers from a spider who would otherwise eat them, you can go fishing, you can sacrifice followers to King Midas to be forced to die slowly as golden statues encased in boiling metal, you can play dice, you can do all kinds of things. You have to maintain loyalty in the cult, and you do this by doing sermons every day, by making sure nobody dies of any illnesses, by keeping everyone housed and fed, performing rituals. I found this part to be the most addictive part of the game. As much fun as the combat is, this is the part where I really spent most of my time. It really kept me coming back. It's this, like I said earlier, it's this gameplay loop that is I found to just be surprisingly addictive. Normally in games like this, I sort of ignore this sort of aspect of it and just focus on the leveling up and the combat. But just the different situations that could unfold, it was just funny, and it just kept me coming right back. So overall, I found this game has really few downsides, a lot of positives, and it's honestly one of the best games I played out in 2022. Like, it's a great fit for the Switch. It's good for looking for something funny and something different. It's got great music. Music was composed by an artist named Riverboy, and it just slaps. Every theme is great. It's incredible. I found myself just going to different areas and just sort of chilling there for a few minutes to just listen to the music for a while. Forgive me if I don't stick with doing numbered scores for forever, but for now, let's try it out. I think I'll give Cult of the Lamb an 8 out of 10. Could have gotten a 9, except for the little minor bugs here and there. Just a really great game. So, anyways, I'm Voltaire Slapadelic. Check me out at @V_Slapadelic on Twitter, or just look for Voltaire Slapadelic on YouTube. I got my own channel as well.
Get your point across, get your point across.